Hello, I'm Michael Redmond, professional Go player. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the Go proverb, cut across the Keima. So Keima is a knight's move, and cutting across it, in Japanese that's called a tsukekoshi. So it's a proverb about good shape. So just to show you here, in this position in the upper right, black's shape is to cut across the knight's move with this move. So that would be in comparison to pushing through, which would not really have a point. So for instance, if I push through here, what would I be thinking? Maybe I would be hoping to play 2 moves in a row or something like that. Because if my opponent just answers here, then black has not really accomplished anything. And there's no good follow-up. In fact, black has strengthened white in this area. So to show you how the tsukekoshi, or the cut across the knight move, works, white is virtually forced to push through here. And white can actually capture this black stone. So the tsukekoshi, or the cutting across the knight's move, is often used as a sacrifice. So black will continue with cutting here, and is threatening to cut again at 018. So white has to answer on this side, and black can cover with an atari. After white captures, black has the option of connecting here, which would be one way of consolidating the top side. So you can see how black has made a complete wall there and has done a very good job of surrounding this territory. So this wall is complete because of that sacrifice that black played, cutting across the knight's move at M18. Just going back once more to this position, if black had played this way, it would become very difficult for black to make any territory on the top there. There's a second best, actually, in this position, where black could play the kick, which is, in a way, it's almost as good as the tsukekoshi, but it does not really finish covering the top side. So if black continues by playing here, there would be a cut at K17 or the clamp at J18. There's a number of weaknesses in black's wall, which is not as complete as the wall that black managed to create with this variation. So black could continue here and have a perfect territory. If black has another part of the board to play, black can actually play away here. And if black does play away, let's just take a random point here, and white cuts here, black can actually make some use of this stone on the second line still. So it has not been completely wasted. And even in this variation, if black had a sufficiently big move elsewhere on the board, then we could still consider this exchange as a valid exchange for black to play. So the important move here was black's cutting across the knight's move. Now to show you it in the upper left corner. So at this point, we're going to say that black plays away and plays this attachment. So again, this is very much like what happened on the top side, only it's one line further away from the edge of the board. It's on the third line here. And black is trying to set up a sacrifice here. So white will usually push through here, and black cuts. So at this point, black is threatening to capture these 3 stones. So that part of it is very much like what was happening on the top side, where black was making a threat there. So for instance, if white plays something on this side, black will be able to attack the 3 stones there. And the race to capture is advantageous for black. So white will capture this, and it's another example of how black gets a good position on the outside. When we look at it locally here, this is actually a position that came up in one of my Tezuji problems, where black can later, let's just have white do some random move, black can later play at the 2-2 point and squeeze white a little bit. So if white tries to cut this stone off, there are some potential problems. White will usually play here, and black will be able to connect underneath, after which white can make a second eye, so it's not as if it's a life and death problem, but black has pushed white around. And if white, with the forcing move on the second line, white cannot cut this black stone off. So just to go into this one, if white plays here, there is a lot of trouble in the corner, and at the very least, this is going to be a forcing move, where black is threatening to kill the whole corner with this. So this would kill the white's corner. by squeezing like this. And already white is dead. So back to the game. This is an example of how black has used, just to recap here, the attachment here, cutting across the nice move, to create a wall on the outside. So it was again a sacrifice play. And the comparison again is with the move right next to it, which is pushing through. Bad shape. White covers here, and there's no valid follow-up for black. So just one more example in the lower right area. So after this, we're going to say that black is going to play another tsukekoshi, cutting across the nice move here. So in this case, black is attacking these two white stones. So if black pushes through here, it looks like black can accomplish something, maybe by this or maybe by this. But white can avoid that by squeezing from the outside. And black did not really get an opportunity to cut white off here. So this was not quite successful. And the shape move is to play here, cutting across the nice move. If white pushes through, black can cut. And white is in trouble. With these two stones having a shortage of liberties, if white plays from underneath, black will be able to surround white like this. And this is going to be rather painful, even if white manages to make two eyes on the side, which is probably a ko or something, so it's a bit painful anyway. Otherwise, if white plays an atari from above, then these stones become an atari, and we can see that white is getting a bit cramped here, so difficult position for white. So that's how the tsukekoshi works. And finally, I'm going to show you a proverb that works for the other player, for white in this case, is do not cut the tsukekoshi. So white actually pushing through here, in this example I showed you this move, pushing through here is quite often, it is not the best move for white. So the proverb for white is you don't cut a tsukekoshi, or you don't cut when black has jumped across your nice move like this. And sometimes it's better for white to play this move. So this is something that you have to do some calculation for, but it is a shape that's worth remembering, because if white avoids this, then one of the things is that if black continues in attempt to push out in that direction, white can play this move as an atari next. So in this case, it does become more difficult for black to cut. This would actually lead to a ko like this, which is going to be a dangerous ko for black also. Otherwise, if black simply connects, which would be a very natural move, it has allowed white to sort of dance around and avoid the direct cut here. In this case, if black persists in trying to cut, white will be getting a good shape on the other side. So this would not be a complete success for black. In fact, going back a few moves, it's probably better for black to be playing something like this on the outside and chasing the entire group. So this was an example mostly of the attachment against knight's shape, but also I add a little bonus at the end with white playing a hana on that side, avoiding pushing through and cutting the tsukekoshi, which is also, it's a good shape for white too. So there was actually two proverbs in this video. First one is cut across the keima, so that would be black's move here. And also at the end I showed you the proverb for white, which is don't cut a tsukekoshi. So that would be the white move here. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Thank you.